Well, hey, Ron, how are you doing?
Are we live? I think we're stuck. Oh, there we are.
Oh, that
So
was fun.
my countdown clock all messed up or what?
Yeah,
I think we're going to, for now on, no more countdown clock. We're just going to go live. Here we are.
You know, I think that's the best way to do this. That countdown clock is just getting in our way. It's a nice little try thing, but man, it just does not want to play nice.
Well, it was playing on my end. I started at like 10 minutes. It was counting down fine, but I don't know what was going on the other end. Anyway,
Well,
we made it. Hey, can you guys tell? I've got one of those standing desks, and you can tell how messy.
Are you standing, or are you?
I'm standing right now.
Up?
Oh, great.
I have one of those as well. Check this out. It lifts up.
But you never use it.
I'm using it right now.
Okay. Well, then from now on, that's why I want you to be on this video. Standing right there. Now we look the same. So, what's wrong with you, Clark? You should have been doing this ever since we started this.
Well, I use it a lot. Okay. What difference does it make to you whether or not I'm standing up or not?
Because we should be on the same
Since you're on your feet. Since you're on your feet, let's do a little dance step, huh? You know?
All right, everybody.
Get the band going.
We have a crowd. I think we have people watching us now. So
I think we do too. I mean, maybe we ought to talk about term limits or something. Is that what we do? Is that why we're here? I can't remember. Is today Friday?
Today.
Any of us get to go outside ever?
Ken, I've been busy. Why don't you introduce everybody and go around the horn here?
Well, my name's Fred Flint. Wait a minute. Not Fred Flintstone. My name's Ken Clark. I'm the regional director for the southern states, going from Texas, Louisiana, all the way up to West Virginia and Virginia, everything in between. And I get to be on the road a lot, and I get to visit a lot of really neat people and talk to people on both sides of the aisle, every spectrum of political affiliation you can imagine, because term limits is one thing that everybody had.
Absolutely. So I'm Ron Hooper, and I'm the Western Regional Director, and I've got everything from New Mexico north, including the Dakotas and Colorado, Wyoming, all of those great states, including Alaska and Hawaii. So lots of growth, especially in the West Coast. Have great straight leadership in the Western states, looking for more. So we may have reached out to you recently looking for certain state leaders. So if you're one and you're in the West or the North or the South, and you feel like you can be a leader in that state, by all means, reach out to us and mark that on volunteer. So it's www.termlimits.com/volunteer, and then type that in and go in and let us know what you'd like to do. There's lots of different stuff, from building friends and family to actually interacting with legislators and getting them to sponsor and vote for our resolution. Mr. Quinn.
Yes, my name is Ken Quinn with 2 N's. I had a midlife crisis recently, changed my first name to K-E-N-N. I'm liking it. It's looking kind of nice now. I think I'm sticking with it.
You had to do that because everybody was confusing Ken Quinn with Ken Clark. And so by adding that extra N on the end of your name, nobody gets us confused anymore. So when they say Ken, we know who they're talking about.
I'm just not used to typing it that way. That's the here, let me show you what it looks like. I'm just not used to
it's Ken. It's Ken and Kinnanen, right?
Here we go.
That's easy. It's Ken and Kinnanen.
Yeah, there you go.
So I live in Maine. I'm the regional director in the north region of this country, from Maine out to Missouri, Iowa, Wisconsin, that whole loop. And listen, folks, we want to thank you. We're kind of casual today, as you can probably tell, but I'm not seeing many comments, so do me a favor. If you're out there watching this, can you just type in what state you're in? Give us some shout outs for term limits. I'm going to pull up your comments. I just don't see as many as we normally have. And I want to make sure that we're still.
They may be waiting for the next the countdown.
Yeah, who knows? I'll tell you that was kind of entertaining.
Hey, you guys, going forward, if you want to do the back end stuff, feel free to.
No. You don't get to flip that easy.
And besides,
we were set up on that.
Quinn, it is way too much fun to make fun of you. So I mean, that's what I live for.
Photos are not showing up. Are you seeing photos on their names? I'm not.
Yeah, I am. I'm seeing it on. I'm not seeing it on the Be Live part, but I am seeing it on the. I've got it up on both screens. I've got it up on the Facebook page, and then I've got it up on the Be Live. So I'm not seeing him on the Be Live, but I am seeing on the Facebook.
All right, everyone, we're going to talk.
Oh, there we go. Pennsylvania, yay!
To the
Nevada
for Congress, and this is what we're all about. If you are new to U.S. term limits, maybe the first time you ever watched our live broadcast, we are all working on getting the state legislatures to propose a term limits amendment for Congress, and we're doing it by Article 5 of the U.S. Constitution. It allows the states equal authority to propose amendments, and we have some really, really big news you want to share with folks today. An op-ed came out this week in Pennsylvania. It was in the Ron, can you or Ken, can you post that in the thread so people can pull this up and read it for themselves?
Ken, it is the very first comment in this thread.
Perfect.
The very first one. I can post it again.
Yeah, so this is huge. This is an op-ed by former Governor Ed Rendell and Pennsylvania Senator Pat Toomey, actually calling on the Pennsylvania state legislature to apply for a convention to propose congressional term limits. That is huge. And it shows you the power of this issue, how that people on opposite sides of the political spectrum can come together when obviously there is a critical reform that we need in this country today, that we can come together and put our other disagreements off to the side and agree on something. And I was just really blown away when this was published, and very excited about what this could do for us in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, that was a very powerful piece. Go ahead, Ron. I'm sorry.
No, it's going to take that, right? I mean, we can't do this. One party can't successfully make this happen any more than you can bundle up 3 or 4 issues and make those successful. And that's why that we're really focused on the bigger picture here. We all have our positions, but the bigger picture is we need to restrict career politicians. And this is the only way, based on the Supreme Court hearing in 1995, that we can get this done.
Well, and you've heard me say it over and over again. You hear me talk about Washington, D.C. And unfortunately for us, all the regional directors, most of the people on our staff have spent a lot of time in Washington, D.C. And it really doesn't matter what your political affiliation is, from Green Party to Libertarian, Republican, Democrat. It really doesn't matter. The dirty little secret is once you get inside the Beltway, the only color that matters is green. Money is the only thing that matters in Washington, D.C. The Republicans have their special interests. The Democrats have their special interests. I mean, everybody does. And you, the American public, are not on that list because you cannot donate millions of dollars to political campaigns. You can't get these people elected by writing a big old fat check, but the organizations can. Whether it's the left organizations or the right organizations or whatever the case may be, Washington, D.C. is driven by money and special interests, period.
Yeah, well, the math is pretty simple on it. It takes 34 states to come together to call for this. There are 19 Republican-controlled states. There are 17 Democratic-controlled states, and the rest kind of blend there. And as you can see, it's going to take both sides to get to 34.
Guys, I'm going to try to pull up this article so people can see what we're talking about. Give me 1 second.
I'm going to have to mute when you do that.
Yeah, let's see. So here's the article, and this was in the Philadelphia Inquirer, and there it is. And I know you posted. Thanks for posting on the thread there. Please, everybody, share this everywhere. This is such a great piece that needs to get out, and this is how we're going to grow this effort throughout the states. We need leaders like this coming together all around the country from both parties, even the Green, Independents, whatever, to rise above the partisan politics and resolve this critical need that we have, which is, like Ken was saying and Ron, we've got to get this power of the incumbent party out of Washington, D.C., so that we can send people down there who know they're not going to turn into a career. They got a job to do. They're free now to make the tough choices because they're not fearful of losing their next election and their next election. And that's one of the items in the piece that these two gentlemen make, is how this will give freedom to people that we send to Washington to do the right thing because they're not afraid of the retribution by losing their future elections. Great article.
Yeah, it really is. And it just, it is one of those issues. There was a question on the thread. What are the chances of this really coming to fruition? The chances are good. The chances are very, very good. In fact, it will happen if we can get people helping us. And there's nothing that stops it. Ron alluded earlier to a Supreme Court decision in 1995, Thornton versus U.S. Term Limits. That's us. And the Supreme Court decided that the states do not have the authority to limit the terms of their own congressional delegation. You need to amend the Constitution. Great. So how do you do that? You go to the Constitution, you go to Article 5, it lays out how you do it. There are two ways to propose amendments. The first one is that Congress can propose an amendment. We all know beyond a shadow of a doubt that Congress will never, ever do anything to limit its own power or its own term, or for that matter, its own ability to spend, right? So that leads us to the second way to propose amendments. All we're talking about now is proposing an amendment. The states can get together and do that. They pass a resolution that says we want to have a convention to propose an amendment on term limits on Congress, period. That's it. It's the only thing on the table. It is a single subject resolution. Nothing else can be talked about. Nothing else can be discussed. They will propose an amendment. All 50 states will get together. They'll propose an amendment to limit the terms of Congress. Then it goes out to the states the way any other amendment proposal would, and it takes 38 states to ratify that proposal. It's very simple. The hard part is getting 34 states to pass the same resolution. That's where we are. And that's what we're doing. That's why when I say I work in 16 states and Quinn does and Ron does, that's why we're trying to get those 16 states, those 34 states to pass the same resolution. We do that, we'll get term limits on Congress. That's why we need your help. We need your help in your hometown, in your home state. We need you to call your legislator, your state level legislator, not your congressman, not your United States senator. They don't matter. We bypass Congress with this process. The only thing that matters is getting the state elected officials on board.
Yeah, let me try to share a little history on that question. What are the chances of getting this done? When we take a look at our amendment history, it's pretty fascinating. And I just want to use the 19th Amendment, which is women's suffrage. That was a battle that lasted about 75 years to allow women to vote. Now, a lot of the states had already allowed it, but to make it an amendment to the Constitution, it was a grassroots effort. Now, they did not do it through the state legislatures, but the movement got Congress to take action finally. But that took 75 years, give or take a few years. This is something that now, even though the American people have really wanted term limits for Congress, this whole grassroots thing has really just started, 3-4 years ago with the Article 5 convention. And so the problem with this compared to women's suffrage is we can't have Congress limit their own power. They are not going to be willing to do this unless they feel threatened. And the only way to threaten them is if we get close to calling the convention to have the states do it instead, then they may take action. Most likely they will. And so it's critical that the people that are running for office right now in your state, the first thing you should ask them is, have you signed the U.S. Term Limits Pledge? If they're running for state senator or state representative, you need to demand, if they want your vote, you need to demand they sign our pledge. And that's the kind of boldness we need at this level, because until we put enough pressure on the state legislators to get this done, it's going to be too hard. It's going to take too long. And so we need everyone to reach out to their candidates, reach out to the incumbents in office now, find out where they stand on this, and let us know in your state where they stand so that we can come alongside you to either bring them aboard or encourage them to go further with it in their state. That's what we need.
Yeah, they're most threatened by this one thing. You know, it's easy to say, hey, I agree on a balanced budget or campaign finance or all these other issues. But when you start to zero them down on one thing, the thing that scares them the most is that we will accomplish this. The states will realize the power they have under Article 5 with 34 states, and the dam will burst and the people will start to control what happens in Congress. That is the biggest fear of the politicians. So as we get closer and closer to that magic 34 number, they're going to be forced to move just like they've done, what was it, 17 times before. Well, a lot of this stuff starts at a state level, grassroots, as my associate said, and then the pressure becomes too great and Congress acts. That's likely what will happen here.
Well, you know, and I don't think I need to explain this to anybody because I think the people that are watching this broadcast get it. Otherwise, they wouldn't be watching. But, you know, it's all about power in Washington, D.C. It's all about money and power. It is human nature to want to consolidate as much wealth and as much power under your own personal control as you can. That is human nature. Human nature has not changed one bit in over 5,000 years. The only thing that has changed is technology. 5,000 years ago, we couldn't do a broadcast like this, right? Human nature hasn't changed. The only thing that has changed is technology. That being said, in order for us to expect, we should never expect those people that we elect to go to Washington, D.C. and act any differently than is what is human nature. I mean, you have a few that will act in the public's best interest, but not very often. So what we need to do is take away their ability to do it. We need to take away their ability. The Constitution, as written, did just that. It's been corrupted by the Supreme Court over the past 250 years, whatever. Okay, we all know that. So this particular issue is the only issue out there. And if anybody has another issue that has 82% approval rating, please let me know. I would love to see what it is. But there isn't another issue that has this kind of nonpartisan, or if you will, bipartisan support. There just isn't one. It can bring everyone together. Everyone can get involved in this. Everyone can work together for a common goal. And that is to limit the terms of Congress. The president's got a term limit. Why shouldn't Congress have a term limit? I mean, it makes perfect sense, but everyone can come together, quit yelling at each other, screaming at each other, and start doing something productive. It truly could be a unifying issue if we can get everyone involved.
You know, one thing I wanted to touch on, and you guys have probably already seen this, the push currently in Congress to put term limits on the U.S. Supreme Court. Now, I want you all to go to our website because I'm going to pull up the screen. So we need to tell Congress, listen, I'm all for term limits on the Supreme Court. But you know what? Before we do that, Congress, you need to step up and call. We need a floor vote. For those of you that may not know, we talk about the state initiative, the Article 5 convention. But we're also trying to get this done through Congress. We have a resolution in the Senate and House, and we had a hearing in a subcommittee earlier this year. And we are demanding a floor vote in the Senate on SJR 1. And we would like for you, can you guys see my screen? Am I sharing my screen right now?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. So here's a way that you can help us right now. Go to our website, and up top where it shows current actions, go down to contact your Congress members. Click on that. This will allow you, once you fill out your address, because we have to know what district you're in, this will allow you to send a message to your current members of Congress to vote on our amendments and get this thing out. So we got to put pressure on them. They need to be hearing from all of us at the federal level and the state level, and we got to be making a lot of noise. So if you guys can do that, please do that. Also, on top of asking your state legislators to do it. So we gotta push this on both edges of the sword to get this done. So I just want to share that. Anyway, there we go. That's my soapbox. Let me see.
Yeah, I've done a lot of preaching today too.
Are there any questions? Why don't we wrap this up with a few questions? Has anyone? Let's see. Can you guys see any questions out there?
Yeah, let me check.
Ohio is in the house. Great. We got a lot of representation from states all around the country today. That's great to see.
Yeah.
I
hit the one. What are the chances of this happening? We hit that pretty well. I would say the chances are really good. So I don't see any other questions.
All right. You guys, they're awfully quiet out there. Don't you guys have any questions? Come on, somebody ask us a question. Let me. I'm
wondering if your clock mishap may have.
Don't blame it on my clock.
I got to blame it on something. You know me, man.
Well, I think what we and gratefully so, we have some great patriots out there, and they tune in every week to listen to us talk about this. And the important thing is, it's a highly galvanized time now, a political environment, and this is one of those things that can really bring friends together. We had some friends over yesterday, and they asked me, what I do, and it's easy for me to start to talk about this. And I never did find out what their political position was because it wasn't important. The unifying discussion was term limits for career politicians, and that is so easy to get support behind is that idea. And what we need people to do is keep expanding our scope. We've grown through viral marketing, through Facebook, social media. We need to continue to do that. Those that are patriotic and loyal to this cause need to go in, like, share, and comment on those and pass those on to your friends and family. And so they get a chance. You'll find that it really is a unifying issue, and it's a discussion that you can have with any political bent.
All right.
There you go.
All right, everybody. We want to thank you for your time. Join the Term Limits revolution if you haven't already by signing our petition. It's on our website. First thing you see is that petition. If you haven't signed that, please do so. Share it on your Facebook profile. Get it out there. Let's grow this thing because we're going to need your support. Once we hit session time in a lot of our states, we're going to have this resolution introduced, and we need you to be picking up those phones, sending those emails, coming to the capitals, joining us to meet with legislators to get this done. That's only 3 months away. And it's going to be upon us before we know it. And we need as many of a grassroots support out there as possible. I do want to thank the number of people that have been contacting me to get more involved. It's great to see the enthusiasm. I'm feeling something out there, guys. It's starting to really percolate, and it's great to see. So with that, I'm done. Any closing thoughts, guys?
No, God bless you. Let's rock and roll. Let's get to it.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Stay the cause.
Bye, everybody.